Terlebih dahulu kami di pihak ingin mengucapkan berbanyak minta maaf atas gangguan teknikal sebentar tadi. Okey, kita teruskan sesi seterusnya bersama dengan speaker kita, pakar kita yang kedua, iaitu Profesor TS Dr. Burhanuddin Mohamad Aboobaider. Okey, beliau adalah profesor di Fakulti Teknologi Maklumat dan Komunikasi UTeM. Currently beliau adalah Deputy Director di UTeM Research Innovation Commercialization and Entrepreneurship Management Center UTeM. Okey, beliau mempunyai PhD dalam Computer Science dan mempunyai pengalaman yang luas, dan juga research interest beliau adalah dalam bidang AI, iaitu dalam multiple criteria decision making models, computational modeling, decision support system, dan banyak lagi nanti mungkin Prof Burhan akan kongsikan. Okey, tanpa membuang masa lagi, saya ingin menjemput Profesor Dr. Burhan untuk memulakan sesi perkongsian.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Good morning everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'il mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Dear Chairperson, Dr. Nuridawati, moderator, my digital maker, fair chairman and committee members, dear Professor, Doctor, lecturers, students, education fair participants, ladies and gentlemen, I am Burhanuddin Aboobaider from Fakulti Teknologi Maklumat dan Komunikasi, and also from Research, Innovation, Commercialization, Entrepreneurship, UTeM Collaboration Management Center. And for today, I feel very honored to present an important topic on multi-criteria approach for feature selection and classification using artificial neural network. Okay. Okay, just for the introduction, let me introduce first what is artificial neural network and also how it's related to machine learning. Artificial neural network actually mimics the working of human brain in processing data. Maksudnya artificial neural network ini dia mimik ataupun melihat bagaimana algoritma manusia berfikir dan memproses data, jadi digunakan dalam artificial neural network. Okay, and then about the machine learning. So machine learning, I'm using acronym of ML, which teaches computers to do what comes naturally to humans. Means that machine learning ni kita nak ajar komputer bagaimana dia hendak berfikir ataupun membuat kerja-kerja seperti mana manusia buat. Okay, jadi dengan keadaan tersebut kita dapat mengurangkan sumber manusia dan sebagainya di dalam in the production line or in the hospital or whatever place that we would like to apply this technique. Okay, and also number 3, if you can see at my slide, this is a flexible model with an input and output type and size, which I will explain later. And it is a very good artificial intelligence because it's a non-linear. In linear, we can use linear approach, non-linear approach, and we can use even for the hierarchical and abstract representation of data. Means that if our data is non-linear or abstract or hierarchical, quantitative or qualitative, we still can use this artificial neural network. Why? Because if human think, kalau manusia berfikir, dia boleh berfikir tak semuanya secara linear, dia boleh fikir secara bukan linear dan juga abstract. Okay, jadi itulah yang kita nak, di mana komputer boleh melakukan kerja-kerja seperti mana manusia berfikir. And also we have a deep learning after that, which represents artificial neural network. They want to solve a complex problem that requires deeper learning with more hidden layers. So if you look at the subset over here, I have put in the Venn diagram. Okay, so we have a very broad artificial intelligence, and then we have machine learning, and inside the machine learning there are deep learning. So if we look at a very simple network, if you can see over here, okay, this is a simple one. We have the input layer, and the hidden layer, and then the output layer. But for the deep learning, we can see many hidden layer. Maksudnya dalam membuat keputusan seharian, kita ada perkara-perkara yang terlalu banyak untuk kita pertimbangkan sebelum kita buat keputusan. Sebab itu kita menggunakan kaedah deep learning. Okay, sebelum kita pergi lebih jauh, lebih baik kita melihat sedikit berkenaan sejarah dan evolusi neural network ini. daripada tahun 1982 sehinggalah ke sekarang. Sebelum 1982 dia lebih kepada artificial intelligence, mathematical modeling, decision support system. Selepas itu daripada 1982 Hopefit telah memperkenalkan recurrent neural network, okay, dan kemudian telah dikembangkan lagi oleh Pauls and Works for back propagation in artificial neural network. Kalau Hopefit network ini dia sehala saja, tapi Paul Werbox ni dia memperkenalkan dua hala pemikiran, dua hala. Maksudnya bila kita berfikir ke depan, kita boleh lihat semula apa yang di belakang dan we can adjust. After we adjust, we can try to predict future and so on. Okay. And next, Boltzmann improved this technique in 1985. Okay. So that is at the beginning, but then we can see from 1989 to 1990, dia sedikit ada loophole dalam kajian neural network ini, where we can see that a lot of loophole in back propagation network, but still people working on that, but very slow. Then they have universal approximators theorem and so on, until in 1990s we have a gradient problem, gradient descent problem, di mana dia menggunakan kaedah pembezaan dan sebagainya dalam menyelesaikan masalah dalam bidang neural network ini, menggunakan teknik neural network. Okay. Dan pada tahun selepas 1990-an, dalam tahun 2000 kita melihat lebih banyak deep belief network dan sebagainya. Sebab itu kalau kita lihat dalam era 2000 ke atas, 2014, 2016, 2019, terlalu banyak teknik-teknik yang diperkenalkan. Contohnya the birth of good flow, good fellow to synthesize like a real data. Okay, maksudnya kita cuba melihat bagaimana manusia berfikir untuk masuk pertandingan dan sebagainya. Jadi dengan kaedah yang sama kita cuba menggunakan dalam deep neural network dan sebagainya. Okay? Dan kita juga lihat contohnya pada tahun 2016 diperkenalkan reinforcement learning. Maksudnya kalau kita menyuruh seseorang pelajar itu belajar dengan memberikan punishment dan juga reward, jadi kaedah yang sama kita gunakan reinforcement learning ini terhadap data-data yang ada dalam archive ataupun sistem komputer kita. Seterusnya kita boleh tengok pada tahun 2019 dia Trio Win Turing Award by Joshua Bengyu, Geography Hinton, and Yan Lichun, where they wins a Turing Award in 2018, and they have improved these techniques. Kalau dilihat di skrin saya di sebelah kanan ini, saya telah buat searching. Okay? Yang terkini saya buat searching pada 6 hari bulan 11. Okay? Dan kalau kita lihat di sini terlalu banyak dalam kalau kita type artificial neural network dalam Google Scholar, paper-paper ataupun artikel berkaitan dengan artificial neural network terlalu banyak, 2 juta lebih. Okay? Dan seterusnya, kalau kita fokuskan lagi kepada tahun 2002 sahaja. Okay? Kalau 2002 sahaja, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh melihat lebih daripada 69,000 artikel pada tahun ini sahaja, setakat bulan November. Jadi kita lihat terlalu banyak perkembangan dalam bidang artificial neural network, deep learning dan sebagainya. Kalau kita dilihat di sini terlalu banyak review perkembangan terbaru, state of the art of this technique being introduced. Those days they using in calculus, okay. Kalau tengok sini gasoline, diesel and oil and gas industry and also in engineering. But nowadays even we can see usage of this artificial neural network and deep learning in medical sector as well. Okay. So let me briefly explain how it's work. Okay. Before we go deep into this area, we have to know on how human brain works. Okay. If you look at the human brains, otak yang kita ada ni is contain 100 billion neurons, and each neuron connects to about 100,000 of its neighbors. Maksudnya dia berkait-kait dan ada connectionnya. Okay. And then the signal from one neuron travels down the axon and transfer to the dendrites of the next neuron, as what you can see at this diagram. Okay, we have a action potential, then the other presynaptic, and then can send to another axon and also to another neuron. And every single passes through the synapse. Okay. Okay. Now we want to try to mimic what happened in our brain to artificial neural network. So in artificial neural network, we can represent by a diagram, as you can see over here. So we have an input through the activation function. Dia ada activation function 1, activation function 2, activation function 3 dan sebagainya. Maksudnya dalam kehidupan seharian kita ada terlalu banyak input yang kita terima dalam pemikiran kita, yang mana kita boleh wakilkan dalam bentuk input yang sebegini. And every input they have their weight. Okay, jadi kalau kita ada banyak input, kita ada pemberat masing-masing terhadap input-input tersebut. Dan dengan sedikit calculation, summation, and then we have certain kita ada persamaan tertentu, regression, linear, or non-linear, sigmoidal dan sebagainya. Jadi kita dapat mengeluarkan beberapa output yang berguna, seperti mana manusia mengeluarkan beberapa alternatif daripada input yang dia dapat. Okay, so every output will be the input for the next layer. So ini adalah input, jadi dia proses, dia keluarkan output. Output ini akan menjadi input kepada neuron yang lain. So every output will be the input for the next layer, and the neuron gets the signal or input value, passes through the neuron, and at the end they fire the output at the output layer. Okay. Okay, so the human brain is far more complex of diverse neuron where each node performs a separate task. Okay, ini kalau kita tengok dalam kita punya otak ada bahagian untuk otak kiri, untuk logik, pengiraan dan sebagainya, right? Lepas itu yang belah kanan untuk creativity dan sebagainya. Okay, itu kita sudah tahu bagaimana otak manusia berfungsi. Okay. And this artificial neural network transcends human ability to process a large volume of data. Bila kita ada terlalu banyak data, jadi kita boleh proses data yang begitu banyak. Begitu juga kalau kita lihat manusia, bila dia sudah lama berkecimpung dalam satu bidang, jadi dia menjadi pakar rujuk. Kenapa? Kerana dia dah ada pengalaman yang begitu banyak, ataupun data yang dia ada di dalam pemikiran dia terlalu banyak, yang mana orang lain akan merujuk kepada orang tersebut. Okay. So as an example, training in artificial neural network is to classify lions as dangerous, might make them sensitive only to lions. Okay. Kalau kita tengok singa itu berbahaya, jadi kita boleh mengenal pasti kriteria pada singa ataupun harimau contohnya, dan kita boleh tahu ini adalah harimau, ini adalah singa, dan ini adalah kucing dan sebagainya. Okay. And then this deep learning consists of artificial neural network that are modeled on similar networks present in the human brain. Okay. Jadi deep learning pula, kalau kita ada set of animals, contohnya kita ada banyak binatang, singa. Jadi kalau kita ada satu binatang yang baru, kita boleh buat perbandingan binatang ini masuk dalam kategori binatang yang mana dan sebagainya. Itulah then the deep learning comes. Deep learning also use deduction, but in a linear basis and in one-dimensional way. Okay. Okay. Now I'm trying to bring you insight of this artificial neural network, from artificial neural network and slightly on machine learning to a deep learning. And why we need this deep learning? Because of it has a better algorithm and understanding, and then deep learning can handle complex operation. Deep learning can perform a complex operation easily, while machine learning cannot do it, because machine learning only on surface. But when we go deep into that particular learning, we can go on the deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning. And it works with structured and unstructured data. Jadi apa juga bentuk data, kualitatif atau kuantitatif, kita boleh kita boleh buat analisis dengan menggunakan deep learning ini. Okay. And moreover, we have a powerful computer nowadays. We have GPU, TPU, and so on. So with this powerful computer, we are able to analyze big data, a huge amount of data, and so on. Okay. And a contemporary data science method is to keep up with the growth in data, and older learning algorithms no longer performing nowadays. That's why we can see over here, if we use other learning algorithm, we can process but have limitation. Data tu mungkin kalau lebih daripada 2 juta, dia akan ada masalah. ataupun lebih daripada 3 juta, ada masalah. Tapi dengan deep learning, walaupun data itu banyak, dia boleh memproses data itu dengan begitu mudah. Why? Because it accept large volumes of dataset as input, then analyze to extract features of objects. Maksudnya bila kita ada set data yang lebih banyak, jadi bila ada satu data yang baru, kita nak match data ini masuk dalam kategori mana, jadi akan lebih mudah. Okay. Alright, how this artificial deep learning works. Okay, I'm going more on the process and algorithm of this artificial deep learning, how it works. Okay, our estimate AI brain has neurons just like animals, and then the circle are used to represent them, and these neurons are all like linked together. Okay, jadi neuron dalam pemikiran kita, otak kita, kita cuba gambarkan dalam bentuk yang beginilah. And then the term deep in deep learning refers to the presence of multiple hidden layers to form a feature selection. And there are 3 types of layers which are used to group the neurons. First is the input layer. If you can see over here, input, semua input di sini. Lepas tu kita ada hidden layer. So hidden layer can be many. Mungkin 3 hidden layer, 4 hidden layer dan sebagainya. Dan seterusnya output. Contohnya macam seorang peguam membuat case study, dia nak membuat investigation siasatan, dan dengan input-input yang kita berikan berkaitan dengan penjenayah contoh. Jadi dia akan tanya penjenayah beberapa soalan, okay? Dan mungkin dia boleh datang semula, dia akan datang tanya balik. Mungkin soalannya sama, tapi jawapan dia akan dapat lain. Mungkin kali ketiga dia pergi, jawapannya lain. Kali kelima selepas jumpa orang lain, dia pergi semula, dia tanya soalan yang berkaitan, mungkin jawapan dia lain dan sebagainya. Okay? So these hidden layers can be maybe only 3 layers, or can be 4 layers, 5 layers, 6 layers, and so on, until we reach to the output. Okay? And we can represent this with I1, I2, and we have W11, W12, W13, okay, W21, W22, W23, and so on. Okay, and then each connection between 2 neurons is represented by a numerical value. So semua ni ada numerical value, sama ada 1, 3, 5, 7 dan sebagainya. Okay, and a separate weight is assigned to each connection between 2 neurons, where there are indices for each of these weights W. Okay, and the number of neurons in the layer from which the connection originates is represented by the first value of the indices, while the number of neurons in the layer to which the connection leads is represented by a second value, third value, and so on. Okay, dan bila kita sudah ada, when we can represent this by a number, okay, input dan juga pemberat bagi setiap input, and then easily we can use a mathematical or statistical modeling to do a calculation, and we can rank which is the top selection, the second selection, third selection, and so on, based on the criteria that we have. Okay, so the most popular type of deep neural network is known as a convolutional neural network, and they call as CNN or CONVNet. So if you use like CRAS or other software to do the analysis, even like MATLAB, simulation toolbox, and then we can use either CNN or CONVNet procedure. Okay, and then it can process 2-dimensional data, even such as images. Sebab kita selalu dapat dalam bentuk image. Contohnya kereta, kita when we snap the photo of the car, we have in 2-dimensional, dapat gambar kereta tersebut. Okay, and then CNN works by extracting features directly from images. Bila kita dah ada image, contohnya gambar-gambar kereta, jadi daripada situ kita boleh extract we can extract certain features from that images. For example, if you can see over here, we have a flower. Okay, so kita nak tahu bunga ini bunga matahari atau bunga raya dan sebagainya. Jadi kita boleh buat, kita boleh letak dalam bentuk grid sebegini, dan daripada grid tersebut kita boleh lihat kawasan, the area, shaded area and non-shaded area, and based on that we can see this belongs to which group and so on. Okay, that's why if you look at my point number 4, Point number 4, CNN learned to detect different features of an image using tens or hundreds of hidden layers. And every hidden layers increases the complexity to classify their networks. For example, the first hidden layer could learn how to detect edges. Contohnya edges tepi-tepi kereta ataupun tepi bunga. Contoh. Okay. And the last layer learns how to detect more complex shapes, specifically catered to the shape of the object where we are trying to recognize. Okay. Okay. This is deep learning network architecture for multi-criteria classifications, which proposed by Geoffrey Hinton in 2006. Okay, it is a classical deep generative model that is trained by stacking a series of restricted Boltzmann machines. Seperti yang saya maklumkan sebelum tadi, Boltzmann telah memperkenalkan Boltzmann machine, then he introduced this restricted Boltzmann machine, RBM, that we can use to classify in deep generative model as mentioned here by Geoffrey Hinton. Okay, and it's also it is an unsupervised generative model. Unsupervised maksudnya kita tidak tahu outputnya macam mana. Okay, begitulah pemikiran manusia bila kita ada satu masalah, kadang-kadang kita tak tahu penyelesaiannya macam mana. Okay, itulah yang menjadi satu cabaran bagi kita. Okay, and there are no intra-layer connections, and hidden units represent features that captures the correlation which is in the data. And it was popular before, but due to emergence of many deep learning algorithms, deep belief network has been rarely used nowadays. Okay, but the theories, the groundbreaking method, and its importance is worth to talk about this topic. Okay. All right, let us look at the deep learning architecture. Deep Bayesian network is trained as follows. Okay, for RBM is trained to reconstruct its input as accurately as possible, and then we have the hidden layer. For the first RBM, then we have visible layer, and then it been repeated until we reach the output. Okay, kalau kita lihat di sini, dia boleh pergi dan boleh kembali ke atas untuk mengkaji semula data yang sebelum. Kemudian dia pergi mengkaji data yang kemudian, dia boleh pergi dan melihat semula data yang sebelum dan cuba melihat dia punya correlation, melihat kesinambungan data di antara satu lapisan dengan lapisan yang lain. Okay. Alright, this is a deep learning features which used to represent learning, also known as feature learning, to map input features analogs to predict variables in traditional statistic to an output. So if you can see over here, kita ada input dan weight seperti gambar rajah yang saya tunjukkan sebelum ni, dan bagaimana pengiraan itu berlaku. Kalau kita lihat, dia ada input dicampurkan dengan weight ataupun pemberatnya, kemudian dia ada summation, maksudnya input pertama didarabkan dengan input kedua, campur input kedua, didarabkan dengan input kedua, campur input ketiga, darabkan dengan input ketiga, okay, dan dicampurkan semua sekali. Okay, inilah dipanggil proses summation ataupun proses pencampuran yang berlaku, sehinggalah kita dapat network input itu bagaimana patternnya, dan kemudian kita boleh menggunakan pelbagai fungsi ataupun persamaan, contohnya linear, non-linear dan sebagainya. Tapi untuk deep learning dia menggunakan ReLU, ReLU rectify linear unit. Dia adalah ringkasan kepada rectify linear unit untuk buat jangkaan ataupun or we call as the estimation. So for more detail about these deep learning features, maybe we don't have a time to discuss more, or we don't have a time to discuss all in this talk, in one talk, because of the limitation of time. So you can browse this paper, okay, by Adrian and Marius, where he tried to explain about the relationship between the input features and output, by Adrian and Marius in 2019. Paper masa sebelum COVID dari itu, baru lagi paper ini, dan yang berbahagia Profesor, Doktor, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh lihat artikel ini untuk mendapatkan gambaran yang lebih jelas. Okay, and then now in deep learning, how we use a mathematical modeling. This is the framework that we have. First, we have a description. We describe about the problem. We identify and understand the practical aspects to the situation, and then we try to specifically identify this using a mathematical way. Okay, where we frame the real world scenario as an appropriate related mathematical questions. Okay. After that, we formulate all these questions by try to simplify some of the assumptions, and then we choose the variables. Means that variable yang tak perlu, yang tidak berkaitan, kita tinggalkan. Kita ambil pemboleh ubah yang diperlukan saja, and then we try to estimate magnitudes of the input. Then we solve the mathematical problem. After we solve the mathematical problem, we interpret, kita terjemahkan dalam penyelesaian tersebut dengan kita cuba kaitkan dengan penyelesaian di dunia sebenar. Okay, so we consider mathematical result in terms of their real world meaning and so on. Then after that, we have evaluation. We try to judge, is it correct, is it accurate, and so on. Okay, then only we can communicate and clearly and fully suggest to address how it can solve the real problem. Okay, all right. So this is the mathematical modeling for multiple criteria, and we can use either in deterministic model or stochastic model. Okay, all right. Okay, this is the example. We have y equal to mx plus c. Okay, all right. So we can propose to combine in vitro experiment, numerical simulation and machine learning. Kita boleh ada nombor dan juga teks, dan kita boleh mergekan dia dalam eksperimen yang berkaitan. Dan akhirnya kita dapat lihat, contohnya ini adalah untuk masalah tumor, penyakit, tumor. Jadi kita nak tahu dia ada sama ada dia sudah dia masih di peringkat initial ataupun peringkat permulaan, ataupun dia sudah di peringkat pertengahan dan sebagainya. Okay. Jadi ini adalah contoh formula-formula matematik yang digunakan dalam bidang tumor dan lung cancer growth. Jadi ini adalah contoh case study yang saya berikan. Dan ada juga Bayesian neural network kita boleh guna, kerana Bayesian neural network ini dia menggunakan kebarangkalian perkara yang terjadi sebelum ini untuk membuat satu anggaran ataupun prediction bagi fenomena atau keadaan yang akan datang. Okay, ini adalah contoh, dan saya tidak mahu pergi lebih jauh dalam bidang mathematical modeling. Dia ada banyak. Ini contohnya menggunakan Monte Carlo or stochastic, Gaussian method and so on. Okay. Okay, alright. Now we are going to the application. Just now you have listened about the theoretical part. Okay, now let us go and see on the application parts. For example, in aerospace and defense, deep learning is used to identify objects from satellites that locate areas of interest and identify safe or unsafe zone for troops. It interprets and responds to outside environment by processing data from the sensors. So dia ada beberapa sensor yang diletakkan pada contoh aerospace atau kapal terbang. Jadi including camera, radar and so on. So from that, it can try to identify the images on the ground and so on, and try to see how the pattern looks like. Another example in automated driving. So it's a very first self-driving car using neural network that we have known that unmanned vehicle, dia tidak ada, dia cuma ada penumpang, tidak ada pemandu, tapi everything set in the system. Jadi dia boleh bergerak daripada satu destinasi ke satu destinasi yang lain dengan selamat, dalam keadaan mengambil kira kereta ataupun kenderaan-kenderaan lain, kondisi jalan raya dan sebagainya. So it's a very first self-driving car used neural networks to detect lane, line, segment, the ground and drive, and it was called Alvin in 1989, long ago, lama dah, 1989. dan sekarang makin canggih, where deep learning used to detect objects automatically such as stop signs and traffic lights pada masa tersebut. Tapi sekarang ini dia dah boleh detect mana double line, mana single line, mana dotted line di atas jalan raya. Jadi berdasarkan speed limit pada jalan tersebut, dia dah boleh set speed ataupun kelajuan kereta tersebut. Selain daripada itu, kalau kita lihat bidang kewangan, industrial automation, perkilangan, pertanian dan sebagainya, banyak menggunakan kaedah teknik-teknik artificial neural network dan juga deep learning buat masa sekarang. Okey. Dan sekarang saya nak cuba bawa masuk sedikit berkaitan dengan penyelidikan saya dan juga pelajar saya on feature extraction and classification approach with artificial neural network. Okay, so we use the optimization. So optimization actually design of deep neural network used to handle the large amounts of data created by our time stretch imaging flow cytometer. To upgrade for example, upgrading the performance of both software and instrument. Ni contoh dalam bidang optimization lah. Okay, sekarang ni kalau bidang medical ataupun perubatan, example of cancer researchers using deep learning to automatically detect cancer cell. Jadi bila kita ada banyak image cancer, jadi kita dah boleh detect sama ada dia cancer, image tersebut cancer atau tidak. Okay. So teams at UCLA, for example, built an advanced microscope that is a high-dimensional data set used to train a deep learning application to accurately identify cancer cells using multi-criteria features. Jadi kalau kita lihat sel-sel kanser ini, dia ada pelbagai kriteria, warna, size dan sebagainya. Jadi dengan mengambil kriteria-kriteria tersebut, kita boleh lihat sejauh mana tahap kanser tersebut. Okay. Dan kalau kita lihat dalam UCLA, dia ada set of semua data berkenaan kanser. Contohnya kalau kanser paru-paru, lung, jadi dia dah ada stage 1 punya set, stage 2 punya set, stage 3 punya set, stage 4 punya set, bagaimana image dia. Jadi kalau kita melihat, kita dapat ambil satu image yang baru, jadi kita boleh lihat, we can see that it belongs to which group and so on. Okay, so that's how they develop an artificial intelligence powered device that detect cancer cells in a few milliseconds and hundreds of times faster than previous method. Why? Because we have a very powerful computer nowadays. Our processor is working very fast with high speed. Then we are able to do this. And from this, we managed to publish a paper in ISI Index with my student. Okay, and then you can Google. Okay, you can Google Muhammad Shakil and Burhanuddin 2019 or Prakash, where Prakash extended our theory in his articles in 2020. Okay. Maybe later, if I have a time, I will just glance through or show you the contents of my paper where you can download from the internet. Okay. Okay. This is the theory about deep learning future direction. Okay, where this deep learning will go. Okay. So current growth of deep learning research and industry application demonstrate is ubiquitous, present in every facet of artificial intelligence. Be it natural language processing or computer vision and so on. Okay, so with time and research opportunities, unsupervised learning method may deliver models that will closely mimic human behavior, and the apparent conflict between consumer data protections, laws, and research needs of high volumes of consumer data, and for sure this will continue for a long time. However, deep learning technologies have limitation. Being able to reason is a hindrance to automated decision support tools. Okay. Contoh dalam kehidupan seharian juga, kita ada banyak data, tapi ada hidden agenda dan sebagainya yang kita tidak boleh dedahkan, tak boleh reveal dalam kehidupan seharian. Tetapi apabila kita menggunakan deep learning dan sebagainya, Jadi semua data itu dapat dikeluarkan dan dapat dihebahkan. Dan kadang-kala data itu penting dan boleh dihebahkan, tapi kadang-kala data itu memang data sebenar, tapi bila kita reveal, kita keluarkan, mungkin boleh membahayakan kepada pihak lain dan sebagainya. Jadi, tapi kalau kita gunakan deep learning itu, dia tidak mengambil kira reasoning tersebut bermasa sekarang. Okay? And Google acquisition of DeepMind technologies holds promise for global marketers. Means that the researcher or the scholars in this machine learning, artificial neural network, deep learning, they are still come up with many technique and improvement in this machine learning and deep learning. So the future machine learning and deep learning technologies must demonstrate learning from limited training materials and transfer learning between contexts, continuous learning, and their adaptive capabilities so that it will remain very useful. Okay? So this is the challenges that we have. Jadi dalam dengan lain perkataan, ini adalah satu bidang yang boleh diceburi oleh pelajar-pelajar ataupun penyelidik kerana mampu pergi lebih jauh dalam era IR 4.0 sekarang. Okay. Okay, before I go to the conclusion, let me show our paper. If you can see over here, this is the paper that I have mentioned that we have published in 2019. Is ISI Index paper in measurement in Science Direct. Okay, lung cancer detection from CT image. Kita ada kalau pesakit dia pergi ke hospital, jadi dia mengambil CT scan. Jadi CT scan itu mengeluarkan image CT image. Jadi bagaimana dia memperkenalkan, bagaimana kita boleh ambil image tersebut dan seterusnya kita boleh buat clustering lah, ataupun kita categorizekan image tersebut kepada beberapa cluster. Okay. Jadi boleh lihatlah paper kami ini. Ini Mohamad Syakil ini adalah pelajar saya, pelajar PhD, okay. Dan bersama researcher daripada UTeM, saya dan juga Profesor Ishak Desa. Saya tidak berminat untuk membaca artikel ini dengan detail, jadi boleh download. You just type lung cancer detection from CT image using improved profuse clustering and deep learning instantaneously training networks. Okay. Okay, boleh baca paper ini. Ini adalah related works. Okay. Mereka yang membuat penyelidikan di bidang yang sama, dan boleh dilihatlah paper ini. Ini contoh. Contoh CT image lung cancer. Dia ada banyak image ini. Jadi bila kita ada image ini, kita nak tahu image ini mirip kepada kluster yang mana contohnya. Okay. Jadi bila kita dapat image ini, image ini dijadikan input seperti gambar rajah yang saya tunjukkan tadi. Okay. Jadi kita ada input ini masuk ke dalam ni. Lepas tu we have to remove the image, the noise. Contohnya warna dan kalau image tu diambil dalam keadaan terang, dalam keadaan gelap dan sebagainya, jadi kita perlu normalizekan. Okay, then we get the histogram of image, and then once we improve the quality of the image, then we can go to the next level. So peringkat ini kita panggil pre-processing. Okay, bila kita ada pre-processing, then we go on the segmentation. Okay, so segmentation using improved profuse clustering technique based on spectral superpixel clustering. Okay, so we have detect edges, contoh tepi-tepi image tersebut. Jadi kita lihat edge detected image, and then image segmentation, then we can go to the feature extraction. Jadi kita dah boleh lihat beberapa kriteria yang kita ada, okay, dan berdasarkan kriteria tersebut, kita dah boleh extract daripada processed image ini. Okay. And then we can go to the lung classification. Ini yang dimaksudkan bila input tu kita dah dapat, kita buat perbandingan dengan input-input yang ada dalam kita punya pangkalan data. Okay, jadi kita boleh lihat, we can see it's cancer or not cancer, for example. So by using this algorithm, in a very quick time, we can detect the stage of this cancer. Is it yes or no, or is it class 1 image or class 2 image, class 3 image, class 4 image, and so on. And this we call as a lung cancer classification structure. And we use certain formula, as I have mentioned just now, the summation and so on, to get the output. Okay, and then from that we can see the sample of pre-processed CT lung, CT scan image on the lung image. Okay, so kita ada contoh image. Bila kita dah buang, kita dah keluarkan when we remove the noise, then how's the histogram image, and then this is the enhanced image. Once we have this enhanced image, it is ready to do a comparison with a set of data that we have in our database. All right. Then this is the segmented. Once we have that enhanced image, we have detect the ages, so we have the segmented image already now. Okay, we have a segmented image. Once we have that segmented image, then we can use this deep learning to identify either it is a cancer or non-cancer. Okay, jadi yang the remaining, I think you can read where we compare with other people, and we show that our research have a very high accuracy and so on. Okay. But what I'm trying to emphasize over here, this research is very important, because if the patient go and visit doctor, okay, or the specialist, and the specialist will take that CT scan image. They ask the radiologist to take that CT scan image. So after they get an image, then they will tell the patient, you go back after 1 week, after 2 weeks, or after 3 weeks, or after 1 month. You come back, because they have many patients queuing to get their result. So we have to follow the queue. And moreover, if last time, if during COVID, for example, more stress, the patient cannot go due to COVID, a lot of restriction, a lot of procedures, so they cannot visit the doctor that frequent. Okay. Then once doctor when they schedule us to see a doctor and bring our image, maybe at that time that patient already in cancer, from cancer stage 1 to cancer stage 2 after 1 month, for example. So after 1 month, we go and visit the doctor, and then doctor give the medicine on stage 1 medicine, which is not strong enough to fight with that cancer, and it will cause a death and so on. So that's why it's very important. But if we use deep learning, it's in a very short time of period, you can compare with the database and produce the output, which will be a very useful for the patient. Okay, and then to take a very fast action to recover from that disease. All right. You can read this paper. It is 11 pages only. You can download from the internet. Okay, it is stored in a measurement journal in 2019, volume 145 pages, between 702 to 712. Okay, you can read the detail, and then we have references all over here that you can refer. Okay. Let me back to my PowerPoint slide, and I would like to conclude my presentation. So deep learning is undeniably mind-blowing, means that now is booming for this deep learning. It's a very good research for us to explore. And this is a new discipline called deep learning, rose and applied complex neural network architectures to model patterns in data more accurately than even before. And mathematical modeling brings a lot of benefits and has been widely used in real work, such as in the field of deep learning, where it is embed into the algorithm, and easily we can get the result. And moreover, we have a statistical techniques as well like Bayesian deep learning, which is able to use in different fields, either in medical, and it can be applied not for human, maybe for animals, and maybe can apply for engineering and so on, and can use either in supervised learning or unsupervised learning, and also to represent many learning techniques or algorithms. So with deep learning, computers can now recognize objects in images and video as well, and transcribe even from speech to text better than humans can nowadays. Because for human, they have aging. For example, if we go and visit the experts, now, after 5 or 10 years, maybe because of the aging, he got a good experience, but because of the aging, maybe he cannot give the advice already for us. Maybe now the doctor can advise us, but if you go after 10 years, after 15 years, maybe he will give the tendency or the probability to give you a wrong advice can be, right? It's not possible because of his aging. But if you use a computer, it's more accurate result. We will get more accurate result. Okay, these are the references that you can refer, and you can go to Google Scholar as well. And I think that's all my presentation on this multi-criteria approach for feature selection and classification using artificial neural network. And please allow me to end my presentation here and open to the question and answer. And I would like to thank to chairman and committee members of my Digital Maker Fair for inviting me today for this talk. Thanks to all participants for listening to my presentation. And I'm sorry because I flew, so my voice may be not very clear. And I would like to return this session to the chairperson or moderator. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And we can open for Q&A session. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Profesor Dr. Burhan atas perkongsian yang cukup menarik. Okey, yang dapat sedikit kesimpulannya kita nampak apakah perkembangan, apakah implementasi artificial neural networks kepada kehidupan seharian kita. Jadi saya mewakili kepada sesiapa yang ingin bertanyakan soalan, boleh letakkan di ruangan komen. Saya akan cuba bacakan sebentar lagi. Untuk Prof Burhan, saya ada satu soalan ya. Saya mewakili adik-adik kita yang masih lagi berada di sekolah rendah dan sekolah menengah. Katakan setelah mendengar perkongsian daripada Prof Burhan yang tadi, mereka tertarik untuk lebih tahu, untuk pergi ke dalam bidang AI itu sendiri. Okey, yang mana AI itu cabangnya begitu besar. Jadi apakah saranan Prof Burhan dalam nak kita kepada adik-adik muda kita ni, adik-adik sekolah kita ni, agar mereka ke arah AI itu ataupun untuk meneruskan minat dia dalam bidang AI itu sendiri?
Okey, terima kasih. Sebenarnya bidang AI ini dia banyak kepada matematik, statistik dan sebagainya. Yang mana kalau kita lihat era sekarang pula, pelajar-pelajar dia lebih kepada sastra dan kurang minatnya dalam bidang sains, teknologi, engineering, matematik ataupun bidang STEM. Tapi sebenarnya kalau setelah lihat pembentangan saya ini, kita lihat bidang AI ini, bidang statistik, bidang matematik, bidang machine learning, deep learning boleh pergi begitu jauh. Dan saya juga telah menunjukkan dalam Google Scholar bagaimana perkembangan bidang ini, yang mana terlalu ramai orang yang menggunakan teknik-teknik ini dalam kehidupan seharian mereka. Jadi untuk pelajar-pelajar, kita perlu pastikan kita tumpukan perhatian kita dalam bidang sains ini, kerana kita lihat dia boleh pergi jauh. Jadi contohnya kepada pelajar-pelajar yang berminat untuk main drone sebagainya, dia main drone. Jadi janganlah kita sekadar main drone itu suka-suka saja. Jadi kalau kita lepaskan drone itu ke atas bumbung rumah kita, jadi kita cuba lihat dari segi latitude, okay? Kita boleh lihat sama ada di atas bumbung rumah kita itu ada kebocoran atau tidak dan sebagainya. Dan kita boleh lihat dari segi contoh kalau kecerunan bumbung tu, mungkin ada bumbung dah nak jatuh. Jadi kalau setakat kita main sekadar hobi, jadi tidak boleh pergi jauh. Tapi kita cuba lihat kalau pelajar-pelajar ni lepaskan drone melalui atas bumbung rumah dia. Jadi dia ambil contoh belajar kecurunan. Dia dah belajar kecurunan ataupun dalam bahasa Inggerisnya is a differentiation. Jadi dia dah belajar di sekolah dalam subjek matematik tambahan dan sebagainya, dan mungkin juga dalam subjek statistik kecurunan ataupun differentiation. Jadi dia lihat bumbung itu dari segi kecurunan. Kalau kecurunan dia tak sama, tak seimbang, jadi dia dah perlu buat sesuatu. Kalau dia tak buat sesuatu, bumbung tu, yang sebahagian tu mungkin boleh jatuh kena atas kereta ayah dia atau ibu dia, kan. Jadi boleh rosak, kan. Jadi bila dia dah lihat, dia dah bagi maklumat tu kepada ibu dan ayah dia. Saya tengok kecurunan kiri dan kanan tu tak sama ayah, ibu, kan, walaupun tak bocor, kan. Jadi dan bukan setakat boleh menyelamatkan kereta ayah atau ibu dia, bahkan boleh menyelamatkan nyawa mereka. Mungkin tiap petang dia pergi jemur baju dan sebagainya, jadi ayah atau ibu pun tak tahu, tiba-tiba jatuh atas kepala dan sebagainya. Jadi perkara ini penting, yang mana kita boleh ambil pengajaran dan kita perlu memupuk minat kita daripada awal, daripada kecil di bangku sekolah lagi, supaya kita boleh pergi jauh dan belajar perkara ini dengan lebih efisien lah. Itu saya punya pandangan lah, Doktor. Terima kasih.
Okey, terima kasih Prof. Mohd. Sekali lagi diucapkan terima kasih banyak atas perkongsian yang cukup baik daripada Profesor TS Dr. Burhanuddin Mohamad Aboobaider. Okey, kepada semua tuan-puan, cikgu-cikgu, adik-adik sekalian, jangan ke mana-mana, kita kembali lagi.
Selamat kembali ke video siri laman web asas. Sekarang kita telah bersedia untuk hasilkan susun atur yang cantik untuk laman web kita. Sebelum kita menghasilkan susun atur, kita perlu fahamkan satu konsep yang penting, iaitu model kotak CSS. CSS box model. Semua elemen HTML yang boleh dipilih dianggap sebagai kotak. Konten ataupun kandungan adalah tempat image dan teks kita akan muncul. Padding ataupun penebal adalah ruangan di antara kandungan dengan border, iaitu sempadan kepada kandungan laman web kita. Border ataupun sempadan adalah garisan luaran yang mengelilingi kandungan dan penebal. Akhir sekali, margin adalah jarak di antara sempadan satu objek dengan margin objek yang lain. Jika kita perlu mengubah saiz kandungan dan border sekali-sekala, ini bukanlah satu masalah yang besar. Tapi pada jangka masa yang panjang, ini boleh menyusahkan penulis atur cara. Untuk memudahkan kerja kita akan tetapkan CSS untuk mengambil kira lebar dan tinggi segala kandungan dalam kotak apabila mengira lebar dan tinggi. Dalam bentuk mode ini, apabila kita tetapkan kotak sebagai 100 pixel dengan margin 10 pixel, saiz kandungan akan automatik.
Red, orange, yellow.
In futures, most of the job will be replaced by robots, machines and software. Here comes questions. Will robots take over humans? Definitely no. But we must undergo a transformation, reshape education and reform ourselves. We foster the unique individualities and self-assurance of each student, equipping them to take on the world with our genetic philosophy, one patient, infinite futures.
Okey, kita kembali lagi. Terima kasih diucapkan kerana masih setia bersama dengan saya. Okey, untuk sesi kita yang seterusnya, kita bersama dengan pakar yang ketiga. Okey, pakar ketiga kita ni namanya Encik Muhammad Fairuz bin Hamzah. Okey. Umur perlu cakap ke? Umur ... Okey, status berkahwin. Beliau berpengalaman lebih 15 tahun ya, tuan-tuan perempuan dalam bidang IT. Okey, bermulanya beliau dari sebagai seorang sistem engineer, senior sistem engineer, konsultan dan sekarang beliau merupakan CTO di Toyyibpay Sendirian Berhad. Okey, salah sebuah syarikat payment gateway yang terkemuka di Malaysia. Okey, untuk sesi perkongsian pada hari ini, Encik Muhammad Fairuz akan membawakan topik yang pada kira saya akan menarik minat kita semua, iaitu yang bertajuk Jom Godam. Oleh itu, tanpa membuang masa lagi, saya persilakan Encik Muhammad Fairuz untuk menyampaikan sesi perkongsian. Dipersilakan.
Ya, terima kasih TS Dr. Noidawati. Terima kasih kepada semua yang join untuk sesi live pada pagi ini. So, saya Cik Muhammad Fairuz bin Hamzah daripada Toyyibpay Sendirian Berhad, salah satu payment gateway di Malaysia. Tajuk topik kita pada pagi ini adalah Jom Godam. So, kita lihat apa maksud Jom Godam. So, kita santai-santai je pagi ni. So, Jom Godam adalah gabungan daripada dua perkataan lah. Satu jom, satu lagi godam. So jom kita biasa cakap kan jom-jom. So dia adalah maksud dia ayuh, mari dan juga ajakkan lah. So godam dia dalam dia orang bahasa dia tak ada spesifik godam. So godam kita tanggapan kita adalah ganggu, ubah ataupun ceroboh. So bila kita gabungkan dia dalam bahasa Malaysia kita panggil jom godam lah. Dalam bahasa Inggeris kita panggil dia jom hack. Okay. So, apa yang kita nak bincang pasal Jom Godam pada pagi ini? So, kita lihat apa yang kita boleh godam yang berdekatan sangat dengan kita. Okay. So, telefon bimbit, tablet. So, saya akan fokus kepada dua peranti utama, OS utama untuk telefon bimbit dan juga tablet ni. Satu yang kita lihat di sini adalah iPhone 14 Pro Max. Okay. So yang kedua adalah Samsung S22 Ultra. Okay. So kedua-duanya mempunyai dua OS yang berbeza. Satu, iPhone 14 menggunakan yang kita panggil OS dia adalah iOS. Kedua, Samsung S22 dia menggunakan OS Android. Okey. Kebiasaannya apabila kita nak kita nak hack kedua-dua ni, kita akan panggil dia menggunakan terma yang berbeza. Satu untuk Apple kita akan panggil dia jailbreak. Okey. Dalam bahasa Melayu dia kita panggil macam pecah jail lah. Kita pun tak ada maksud yang sesuai ya. So untuk Android kita panggil root. So kedua-dua terma ni kita gunakan dia untuk mendapat kawalan penuh ke atas peranti kita. So kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan lihat kedua-dua mobile phone yang kita beli, dia adalah limitation. Terdapat limit pada kedua-dua telefon ini. Kita tak boleh install aplikasi-aplikasi yang kita bangunkan. Kita tak boleh ubah sesuka hatilah display dia. Katakan iPhone di depannya ada display sebanyak 20 ikon. So bila kita melakukan aktiviti jailbreak ni, kita boleh mengubah apa yang iPhone dan juga Android telah tetapkan. So konsep yang kita dapat apabila melakukan kedua-dua ni, kita akan melakukan reverse engineering. So sama ada kita gunakan tools ataupun kita study sendiri. Kita tengok kod dia, apa yang dia buat. So kita patah balik macam mana dia buat benda ni, macam mana dia buat benda tu. So kita boleh buang sekatan perisian yang kita ada. Okay. So sekatan-sekatan ini boleh kita buang sebenarnya jika kita telah study reverse engineering dan kita tahu di mana kod dia. Okay. Kita boleh ubah aplikasi sedia ada. Katakan aplikasi itu ada trial selama 60 hari ataupun 180 hari. Kita cuba reverse engineering mendapatkan kod tu dan juga kita ubah supaya benda tu boleh jalan. Okay. So apa lagi kita boleh buat? Kita boleh sideload unofficial aplikasi.apk. So any APK ataupun any apps yang tiada dalam App Store dan juga Google Store, kita boleh masukkan di sini. So kita panggil terbaris sideload. So dengan itu, dengan kita ada kawalan penuh ke atas kita punya peranti kedua-dua ni, kita dah jailbreak, kita dah root, kita boleh cipta aplikasi baru di dalam kita punya telefon bimbit dan juga tablet. Okay, saya dah sentuh yang pertama lah yang kita nak jom hack pada pagi ini. So kita tengok aplikasi kedua. Okay, aplikasi kedua yang paling dekat dengan kita adalah PC, desktop dan juga laptop. So kita ada masalah yang sangat biasa rakyat Malaysia hadapi. Satu, Windows tiada lesen. Okay. Dua, Office tiada lesen. Dan tiga, game tiada lesen. Dan last sekali adalah masalah isu-isu trial. So yang ni adalah normal masalah yang dihadapi. Kadang-kadang kita install, kita beli laptop tiada Windows. Lepas tu kita beli Office, after 1 year tiada lesen. So biasa, normally praktik penyelesaian biasa kita akan, apa kita buat? Kita download crack dengan activator. Apa dua benda ni? Dua benda ni adalah satu aplikasi yang dibangunkan oleh someone yang kita tak tahu siapa, yang mahir teknik reverse engineering. Okay, dia boleh study Windows punya structure yang pegang untuk activation punya part dan juga Office punya structure yang pegang activation punya part dan juga game dan juga benda-benda yang lain yang melibatkan trial, dan dia akan patch dekat situ. Okay, dia akan patch dekat situ, dia akan transit dan dia akan activate secara lokal. Okay. So benda-benda ni sebenarnya sudah ada di internet. Cuma kita perlu pandailah untuk carinya. Okay, online system application sebagaimana yang kita tahu akan ada login page. So kita perlu persoalkan sistem itu, adakah login itu cukup selamat? Adakah anda percaya tools bantuan save password di browser Chrome itu adalah selamat? Adakah login sistem itu perlu 2FA? Ini yang melibatkan isu-isu keselamatan yang kita perlu tahu as a pengguna, dan pembangun sistem pun perlu tahu. Okay? Kalau pengguna bila dia masuk kepada satu-satu sistem tu, dia boleh tengoklah interface dia. Lepas masa login tu ada Google Captcha ke, tiada ke, terlalu simple ke ataupun terlalu susah. Maksudnya lepas dia login dia perlu tekan 2FA, two factor authentication. Dia perlu menggunakan device lain untuk log masuk kepada sistem. Okey, so ini akan menjadi persoalan kepada pembangun sistem dan juga pengguna sistem. Okey. So penyelesaiannya mudah. To beat a hacker, you need to think like a hacker. Okey. Nowadays, pembangunan sistem bukan sekadar untuk menjalankan fungsi A ke B atau menukar sistem manual kepada sistem komputer. Dia tak boleh direct to the point. Okay, buat satu sistem, buat sistem tempahan, buat login, buat reset password. dan sebagainya tanpa memikirkan ada someone di luar tu yang mahir dan berniat jahat dengan kita. So kita perlu berfikir, bangun sistem perlu berfikir seperti penggodam. Kalau dia bangunkan login ni, dia kena act juga. Okay, saya selaku penggodam, macam mana saya nak bypass login ni? Okay, dia akan melakukan DDoS, dia akan melakukan SQL injection, dan dia melakukan benda-benda lain yang boleh pecah masuk kita punya sistem. Okay, so salah satu platform popular untuk Jom Godam ni, saya tak spesifikkan detail. Platform ni adalah gabungan peralatan ataupun assessment untuk kita start melakukan Godam. Okay? Yang salah satu platform popular yang saya pilih, pendapat saya adalah Kali Linux. Kali Linux adalah open source, yang mana dia ada banyak tools sedia ada untuk melakukan banyak assessment, bukan setakat Godam. Ni kita nak dapatkan assessment information security, kita nak buat penetration test, kita nak tengok security dia macam mana, research, kita lakukan computer forensic, dan seterusnya kita lakukan reverse engineering. Okay. Contoh yang di belah kanan ni adalah salah satu as-is versi yang Kali Linux yang sedia ada. So kalau kita tengok, kita ada benda-benda yang educational dan juga yang kita boleh intentional kepada sistem itu. Kita ada exploitation tools, kita ada reverse engineering, kita ada sniffing, kita ada post exploitation, ada reporting tool dan juga social engineering tools. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh download di https://kali.org. Okay. Okey, baru-baru ni kita dah digemparkan dengan akaun Telegram dan signal Perdana Menteri di Godam. So benda ni baru bulan 8 dan bulan 8 2020. So kita tertanya-tanya macam mana akaun Perdana Menteri ni di Godam, macam mana bentuk godaman dia, macam mana benda ni boleh berlaku. Okey? Yang ni akan menjadi persoalan kita, masyarakat, netizen, non-technical dan juga technical akan memberi persepsi yang berbeza. So kalau kita technical, kita tahulah macam mana. Kalau non-technical, mungkin ada impact negatif yang akan hadir untuk isu-isu ni apabila dia berlaku. Okey. Pada pendapat saya, kemungkinan yang semakin popular dan trending adalah malware. Okey. Malware ni adalah sejenis something, maksudnya bila saya mention something, ia mungkin aplikasi, ia mungkin image, ia mungkin services, ia mungkin anything yang berada di dalam peranti kita, sama ada desktop, laptop, handphone, tablet, kita punya wifi, kita punya VPN, kita punya anything yang melibatkan device, melibatkan network, dia mengumpul data yang diperlukan. Contoh yang paling mudah adalah keylogger. Okay? So malware ni, anything di dalam kita punya ni, sama ada services ke apa ke, dia lock kita punya keyboard. Okay? Yang ni save password browser. So dia akan baca daripada kita punya browser. Kita simpan password dalam tu kan, ada Chrome semua kan. So dia akan extract kita punya username dan password. Dan juga akan hantar semua data-data terkumpul ni ke satu sumber yang kita pun tak tahu. SKMM pun tak boleh nak detect secara direct, dan kita pun tak dapat nak kesan punca-punca dia. Maybe akan ada IP lah, cuma as a malware punya yang buat ni, dia pandai lah untuk simpan-simpan ni. So malware ni ada bagus dan ada yang tak bagus. Ada untuk tujuan pemantauan, ada tujuan untuk mendapatkan data secara illegal. Punya peranti-peranti. So bila kita data-data ni dijual di deep web ataupun dark web, so benda ni akan continue lah sehingga kita detect malware itu ada di dalam peranti kita. So ini adalah sangat bahaya. Okay. So merujuk kepada kes yang tadi, Telegram ni, kita pun tahu lah Telegram ni international, tak mustahil lah Telegram kena hack kan. So kemungkinan adalah inilah. Kemungkinan adalah ini dan benda ni semakin berleluasa dan di luar kawalan kita. So awareness itu perlu ada kepada kedua-dua belah pihak. Pengguna, pembangun sistem dan juga penyedia wifi ataupun networking pada sesuatu tempat itu. Okay. Even dekat wifi pun dia boleh transact data-data kita. Okay, secara konklusi untuk Jom Godam ini, bila kita sebut Godam, kita akan buat inovasi dan kita cipta idea-idea baru untuk Godam. Ia akan melahirkan pakar-pakar IT, masyarakat-masyarakat IT yang dia innovate. Dia cuba untuk Godam. Bila dia cuba untuk Godam, dia akan ada idea. Okey, sistem ni kita tahu hole dia dekat mana melalui sini. Dan yang menggodam ni dia tahu untuk menambah baik sistem ni, pembangun sistem perlu tutup something. Okey, so dia akan mewujudkan lebih banyak aplikasi untuk membantu menyelesaikan, untuk membuang limitation, dan juga benda-benda ni akan berkaitan dengan legal, sama ada perkara yang dilakukan oleh penggodam ini adalah illegal ataupun legal. Okey, dengan godam ni juga kita akan menyebarkan awareness keselamatan kepada pembuat sistem dan pengguna sistem. Okey, kita dah tengok tadi malware ni. Malware ni sebenarnya adalah awareness kepada pengguna sistem. Dia tak tahu sistem tu secure ke tak secure ke, tapi sebenarnya dekat peranti dia dah tak secure. Semua username password dia telah ditransact pada peranti dia sedia ada. Dan dia tidak boleh menyalahkan sistem tu tak secure. Sedangkan di peranti dia pun memang dah tak secure. Dalam deep web dengan dark web, setiap bulan dia punya username password ada disebarkan. Okay, so dengan itu pembangun sistem akan membangunkan sistem yang lebih selamat. Okay, untuk Jom Godam ni dia bukan one man show. Kalau kita tengok Anonymous, dia bergerak dalam kumpulan yang besar. So bila kita melakukan sesuatu Jom Godam, sama ada untuk kebaikan ataupun yang kurang baik, kita akan berjumpa dengan someone yang lebih pakar. So dari situ kita berbincang, kita berkongsi ilmu, macam mana kita nak buat aplikasi ni, macam mana kita nak buat aplikasi itu. So ia akan menyebabkan kita punya community berkongsi ilmu dan benda ni akan menjadi satu benda yang kita continue. Okay, so keselamatannya bukanlah kata bila kita buat as is today, kita dah securekan sistem tu, belum tentu pada tahun depan sistem itu akan secure. Okay, so itu saja perkongsian pada pagi ini. Saya serahkan kembali kepada Dr. Noidawati. Dipersilakan.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Encik Mohamad Fairuz, satu perkongsian yang cukup padat, singkat tapi cukup padat. Okey, kepada sesiapa yang ingin bertanyakan soalan, boleh letakkan di ruangan komen untuk saya bacakan sebentar saja lagi. Okey Encik Fairuz ya, tajuk yang cukup hebat. Jadi apakah saranan, soalan satu yang pertama daripada saya Encik Fairuz, apa saranan Encik Fairuz kepada adik-adik kita ni yang di usia muda remaja belia ni? Adakah terus nak pergi godam untuk terus pandai ilmu godam ni, atau apakah cara-cara yang selamat untuk adik-adik kita ni belajar dan tidak memberi kesan yang tidak baik kepada mereka dan juga persekitaran mereka?
Betul. Okay, itu adalah soalan yang baik. So saya pun start pada sekolah dulu, saya jailbreak saya punya iPhone lah, zaman-zaman college dulu. So bila kita buat macam tu, kita dah boleh baca kod. Baca kod, dan ia akan melahirkan pada usia muda, dia akan melahirkan you punya thinking tu ke depan. You nak cari kat mana dia punya hole, dekat mana you boleh ubah tu, dia akan jadi macam ni. Kalau you nak ubah ni A jadi A++, you boleh buat kat situ. So basically dia tak salah. Cuma jika kita mengganggu-gugat privacy yang lain, entiti yang lain yang mana boleh melibatkan legal punya action, itu adalah salah lah. For self-study with community, with close group, I think it's good for new student for your learning curve lah, untuk explore.
Okey. Itu adalah satu jawapan yang menarik daripada Cik Fairuz. Okey, ada soalan ke daripada Facebook? Okey. Satu lagi ya. Memandangkan Cik Fairuz kita ni adalah, background beliau adalah dari Bachelor of Computer Science di UTeM dalam bidang computer networking. Jadi adakah Cik Fairuz menyarankan agar adik-adik yang minat dalam bidang hacking ini, mungkin yang ada yang sebelum ini pernah terbaca dan terminat, untuk masuk ke dalam Bachelor of Computer Science Computer Networking di UTeM ini?
Ya, terima kasih baik Dr. Noidawati. So dalam kita memilih satu-satu course, UTeM sangat membantu dari segi hands on. So apa yang you Google, apa yang you search dekat luar tu, you boleh implement in a project dalam Bachelor Computer Science untuk networking. Untuk networking memang fokusan untuk network, tapi you kena ingat hackers pun akan boleh intercept melalui network. So bila you belajar benda-benda hacking ni untuk sama ada internal ataupun nak kuatkan you punya sistem, networking juga you akan belajar macam mana you nak intercept, macam mana you nak block, macam mana you nak transmit data dengan secure. Contoh, you hantar data A kepada A ke B, you tak nak tempered kan, you nak make sure data tu betul ke tak. Then di network side level dia akan membantu macam manalah yang you nak secure kan. Yang tu you kena work lah. Saya tak boleh nak bagi tahu as is today you nak secure macam ni, sebab esok maybe hackers tu akan berjaya hack as is today punya solution. Benda ni dia bersambung.
Okey, terima kasih. Saya ingin ucapkan kepada Encik Mohamad Fairuz Hamzah, CTO daripada Toyyibpay Sdn Bhd atas perkongsian yang cukup menarik sebentar tadi. Okey, tuan-tuan, puan-puan, cikgu-cikgu serta adik-adik sekalian, kita berehat sebentar, kita kembali lagi selepas ini.
at Robot Club is a one-stop STEAM robotics coding learning center in Malaysia. We provide robotics education to students from ages 6 to 16. We adopted Korea and use a robotics teaching module. It is carefully crafted to fit the students' needs in Malaysia. at Robot Club is certified by Digital Maker Hub and My Digital Maker since 2018. Since 2018, our annual National Robotics Competition are recognized by the Ministry of Education, which is known as STEAM Cup Malaysia. Our headquarters is located at Enforced Kota Damansara. We provide a nurturing, stimulating, and safe environment for our students, facilitated with PC, equipment, 3D printing, and Maker Lab. As for today, we have more than 30 at Robot Club learning centers throughout Malaysia. We educate our students not only through assembling robots, but we focus on practical use of mechanical parts, programming learning, and project management. We emphasize students' growth to ensure the technology we educate them could be beneficial and help them to achieve success in their future.
Hello world, saya Alina dan selamat datang ke siri video Asas Web. Anda mesti pernah melayari internet untuk mencari suatu laman web kan? Macam mana internet boleh menyambungkan kita pada laman web tersebut? Okey, Setiap kali kita membuka pelayar web seperti Chrome, Internet Explorer atau Safari dan menaik masuk alamat web, komputer kita akan membuat sambungan kepada komputer ataupun pelayar web yang mengandungi maklumat laman web tersebut. Komputer kita akan meminta satu salinan laman web tersebut untuk dihantar dan dipaparkan pada komputer kita. Salinan laman web ini ditulis dalam atur cara HTML. Ini membolehkan pelayar web membaca dan memaparkan maklumat seperti yang telah diatur cara. Dalam siri video kali ini, kita akan belajar cara untuk menghasilkan laman web menarik dengan menggunakan HTML dan CSS. Apabila kita telah menemui laman web yang dicari, apa yang anda dapat lihat pada pelayar web adalah seperti ini. Tapi, jika anda klik kanan pada laman web dan pilih View Page Source, anda akan nampak ini. Ini adalah barisan kod demi barisan kod yang membina laman web yang kita dapat lihat tadi. Untuk siri video asas web, kita akan gunakan laman Replit untuk mengatur cara dan menguji kod kita. Tapi anda boleh guna perisian lain seperti Notepad untuk hasilkan atur cara HTML dan memaparkannya dengan pelayar web. Ini adalah struktur asas laman web. Kita akan kembali semula kepada CSS di video yang seterusnya dan JavaScript dalam siri video yang akan datang nanti. Ini dikenali sebagai tag HTML. Tag ditulis menggunakan simbol ini. Tag HTML sentiasa berpasangan dan mempunyai tag pembuka dan tag penutup. Tag penutup mempunyai backslash atau slash yang bersandar ke belakang. Tag HTML memberitahu pelayar web bahawa ini adalah dokumen HTML dan segala yang terkandung di antara tag pembuka dan tag penutup akan diproses sebagai HTML. Tag head adalah bahagian kepala untuk laman web. Di sini juga adalah bahagian untuk memberitahu pelayar web jenis-jenis fail lain yang akan digunakan dalam laman web ini. Di sini, kita sedang memberitahu pelayar web bahawa style.css juga adalah sebahagian daripada laman web ini. Tag title adalah apa yang akan anda lihat di bahagian atas pelayar web yang menunjukkan tab-tab laman web yang dibuka. Tag body adalah bahagian anda meletakkan kandungan halaman HTML seperti teks, image, pautan dan maklumat lain. Semua ini akan diletakkan di antara tag pembuka dan tag penutup body. Jom kita tambahkan teks ke dalam laman web kita. Untuk video tutorial kali ini, kita akan membina sebuah laman web peribadi. Selepas anda selesai menaip kod, tekan Run dan anda akan nampak laman web di bahagian kanan telah dikemas kini. Ada beberapa perkara baru yang ditunjukkan di sini. Tag P menandakan perenggan baru. Tag UL dan LI atau tag Unordered List merujuk kepada senarai yang tidak disusun. Tag OL dan LI atau tag Ordered List merujuk kepada senarai yang disusun. Tag BR mewujudkan baris baru yang kosong sama seperti apabila kita tekan Enter. Untuk maklumat lanjut tentang tag-tag dalam HTML, anda boleh carikan maklumat lanjutan dengan kata kekunci List of HTML Tags and Attributes. Rujuk pada laman web WeSchools yang merupakan sumber rujukan utama kepada pengatur cara web. Okey. Kalau laman web hanya dipenuhi dengan teks, macam boring kan? Jom kita buatkan laman web kita lebih menarik dengan menambahkan image dan pautan. Kita boleh membina pautan menggunakan tag A. Kita letakkan alamat laman web dalam tanda petikan selepas A, H, R, E, F. Ada perbezaan di antara pautan pertama dengan pautan kedua. Dalam pautan pets.html, pautan ini terletak di tempat yang sama dengan laman web yang dibina. Manakala pautan yang kedua terletak di luar laman web ini. Maka kita perlu typekan alamat penuh laman web luaran siap dengan HTTP dan www. Anda boleh tambahkan laman dengan mengklik plus file pada bahagian kiri atas. Jom kita lihat apa yang ada pada setiap laman yang telah dibina. Dalam laman pets, saya telah membina kod HTML yang ringkas dengan menggunakan satu perenggan. Jom tambahkan image kucing di sini. Kita akan membina 3 jenis image untuk anda lihat perbezaannya. Typekan kod ini dan klik Run. Apabila anda berada di laman ini, klik Open in New Tab pada bahagian simulasi laman. Ada beberapa masalah di sini. Image kucing ini terlalu besar. Tapi jangan risau, size image boleh diubah dengan menggunakan pengubah height iaitu tinggi dan width lebar seperti yang dilihat pada image kedua. Sekarang kita boleh menyusun image ini seperti sebuah perenggan teks. Kita boleh menolak imej ketiga ke bawah dengan menggunakan tag BR. Perhatikan apa yang berlaku apabila imej ketiga diklik. Anda akan dibawa ke laman yang berbeza. Dalam HTML, kita boleh menggabungkan tag seperti ini. Apa yang berlaku di sini adalah kod imej ini telah disusun dalam tag pautan tadi yang telah menghasilkan imej yang boleh diklik. Dah siap sebuah laman web ringkas. Anda boleh cuba membina laman web versi sendiri. Inilah peluang anda untuk perkenalkan diri pada dunia. Jangan lupa untuk menonton video seterusnya. Kita
Terima
akan
kasih
belajar...
diucapkan kerana masih setia bersama dengan saya. Untuk seterusnya, bersama dengan saya adalah speaker kita yang keempat. Okey, speaker kita yang keempat ni namanya Encik Mohamad Nawawi bin Mohamad Ismail, seorang 3D animator dari PlayStation Studio Malaysia. Okey, beliau berpengalaman selama 6 tahun dalam bidangnya. Mempunyai latar belakang Bachelor in Science Computer, Interactive Media dari UTeM. Okey, passionate dalam bidang movies dan juga game. Okey, beliau mempunyai experience bekerja bersama dengan Wow Animation untuk Agent Ali TV series dan Agent Ali The Movie 2019. Okey. Currently, sekarang ni beliau berada di PlayStation Studio Malaysia as in-game and cinematic animator. Okey, untuk itu saya serahkan kepada Encik Mohamad Nawawi untuk sesi yang seterusnya.
Alright. Hi everyone. Thank you for Miss Ida. Still call Miss Ida. Thank you to the speaker and thank you for the opportunity that you guys give me today. I am very honored to talk to you guys today. So let me introduce myself again. My name is Mohd Nawawi bin Mohamad Ismail and you guys can call me Awi. And I'm 29 years old. I graduated from UTeM in 2017. And I have worked with Wow Animation for 5 years and PlayStation Studio for almost now is 6 months. 6 months in games industry. So first of all, I would like to share you guys my demo reels. It's like a portfolio lah, okay? This one I did it for Agent Ali the movies, what I did back then. Okay, let's see it. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Siapa suruh? Memang nak Alia. Mana budak ni? Tak ada beza antara Alia dengan musuh kita yang lain. Serangan dari luar. Dia nak perang ke?
Alright, that's it. So if you guys notice, suara tu bukan final lah. Ada karakter yang perempuan tapi suara lelaki. That's normal for any production. So they only finalize that at the final stage. So today I'm here to talk about my journey, how I became a 3D animator. for TV series, film, and right now games. Let me assure you guys that I am not a good speaker. So if I talk something wrong or I have a bad grammar, I'm so sorry, okay? How do I start? So since in my childhood, I'm always passionate about, movies and games, and I think we all, I think my generations, we all grew up with PlayStation, and PlayStation 1 came out, and then PlayStation 2, and then there's 2D animation came out, like Disney animation, Pixar film, DreamWorks, whatever, from US, and all the good stuff there. And we all grew up with that kind of media, and that kind of influenced my ambitions to become one day. But at the time, I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do when I'm grow up, right? So during my high school, I I didn't take any art classes, or because I managed to get a science stream classes. So I have to do all that subject like math, physics, chemistry, and whatever. And I'm not so good at it, but I always interested in. Sorry. I'm always interested in art classes, or doing some crafting, or anything related to that. But I didn't get any opportunity to do that in my high school, so I'm just okay, just follow the flows and get the SPM and get pass and whatever. So when I applying for university, I was looking forward to go to animation school, but at that time, the cost for animation courses is very expensive for me and for my family, and I thought that okay, just go with whatever the courses that have related to animations, maybe, and just go for it. And I got UTeM. I did my diploma and degree there. So in my diploma, I took ICT. So I learned all the stuff like programming, some math, algorithm, and I didn't remember so long ago. But during my diploma, I learned something. I remember I learned Photoshop with Miss Sarah. So shout out to her because she's the one. She's the one, yeah, who taught me the Photoshop and Illustrator back then. So thank you, Miss. So at the end of my diploma, I was searching courses to go to animation related. So I found out that UTeM also got a subject that related to animation. So okay, I decided, oh, why not just go for it? Anyway, and I'm kind of used to it, used to the UTeM's area. So yeah, okay, sure. And I did my degree there for 2.5 years, I think. Yeah, somewhere around that because I failed in one semester. But yeah, okay. I did pass, obviously. Okay. So there's only one subject. There's only one subject that taught me in animation, which is I think Introduction to Animation, which was taught by J. Adili back then. So everything I know about Maya and 3D classes, or animation principles, I owe all of it to him because he's the one who taught me, and he's the one who introduced me to the industry. So I was really excited back then, and I always go to his office and have a chat, and always ask for his advices and ask him what I'm gonna do next, right? So yeah, he gave me some advices, and he told me that he has some friends in industry. So why not just ask them for internship there? Okay. So yeah, and at the end of my degree, I had I was luckily got internship at Wow Animations. So that's the start there. So at first, I uh, I started as someone who know nothing about animation. You know, I only got one classes about it, and everything is not really related. For someone who has only learned the theory and just to pass the exam, and when you jump into industry, and then you have to get back to the theory that you have learned before and apply it there, and then I was just kind of, oh, I have to learn it back. Okay, so yeah, that was the time that I have to master it. For animation, we have 12 principle of animations, so you can Google it. I think there's a lot of video explaining about it. So I need to. It's not about mastery; it's about understanding, because when you animate things, you want to the character believable or a human related, right? So I did my internship for 6 months, yeah, and I got into the production. So back then, my skill was so amateur, I think, because when I started, and everyone is so good at what they are doing, and they were so good at it, and I was so oh no, who am I here? So I started to think like I want to be good as them. So throughout the internship is a kind of get to know the environment, get to know the job you have to do, right? So in the middle of a production, I decided to do something to get my skills polished, right? So I always do. So I decided to every after work I do a training session for me. So what I did is I pick up any movies that interest me, and then I export it out, and I try to replicate it using any character that I have on my PC. So yeah, I tried it all kind of movies. So there's a some characters I use, and they generally have the characters, right? So I use the character to match up with movies from Pixar, and then do some silly stuff, and yeah, it's kind of fun. But in a way, it taught me how to notice where I can polish my skill, where is my where's the spot that I always make mistakes before. So I keep doing that, and keep doing it, and keep doing that. Although no one asked me, so because I still want to get good, because when you're in the industry, so if you don't you know do well, and then it came out on TV, and everyone will see. So it kind of embarrassed somehow, because you're doing a terrible job, and you kind of very embarrassed by that. And I need to grow myself. I need to polish myself there. So yeah, from that moment, my directors, my leaders, my director, leaders, and supervisors there started notice my animation got more and more polished, more improved. I would say, yeah. So that's it. Practice doesn't make you perfect, but you make improvement for sure. Yeah, because even right now, I still have a lot of mistakes, but I keep doing practices and ask for feedbacks. Yeah, ask for feedback is very important because you never know what you are doing are the mistakes you didn't notice before, and everyone will notice right after that. And so the feedbacks are very credential, I think, for animation progress. And as you keep going, your eyes kind of get used to the shot, but everyone will see it's kind of weird. Yeah. So learn from one another. Yeah. Um, what else? What time is it? Okay, right now. Right now, I'm working with PlayStation Studio. I am very new, still very new at this moment, and I am back to a person who know nothing about games industry, and I was lucky enough to get into the PlayStation, and I was very grateful to my boss because he's the one who said that that's an opening there, and if you decided to keep growing more and learn some good people who have worked with industry for many years, so you should go there. My boss said it to me, and I did. I did the interview and they accepted me, and oh, okay. Even though I started as a very amateur level, but I get somewhere from here because I I didn't start as nothing at all because I still have my basic in animation, but jumping into games industry, you need to have that strong basic, because in before this, I worked with Wow Animation for Agent Ali. This is called key animation. If you guys know about a type of animation, there's a key animation, there's a mocap animation, there's stop motion. There's a kind of type of animation. So right now I'm doing mocap animation. So all I have to do is to polish the mocap that have been captured by the performance there from the US team for their games. So I thought, first of all, I thought like, oh, it just polish state. So I kind of okay with that. But then after a while, it gets like oh my God, that's so hard. The reason is so hard because the benchmark and it's called the benchmark. The quality bar is very high because right now we have PlayStation 5, right? So every games that will be played on PlayStation 5 have to be a very good quality, and you have to match that kind of quality bar right there. So it's a lot of things to do, a lot of training to do, but I like it. So far, I am enjoying all the progress, and I didn't, fall off right too far. I kind of okay with that, and that's a lot of. I mean, my supervisor and my leads are teaching me, and they were okay with me as someone who know nothing, right? And they taught me very patiently, and I like that. I enjoy working with them, and I am so, you know, lucky enough to be involved in PlayStation Studio. So yeah, that's it. Well, that's all I can share today. Is it time? How many minutes I have been taught? I never been taught this long before. So I'm gonna talk about what are the challenges that I've been facing. Yeah, one of the challenges is like before this, my parents will be, oh, you want to join in games? You want to join in animation? What's the future, right? So they're always like skeptical. But I got to do what I'm always want to do because I noticed the industry is growing quite rapidly in the past 10 years, right? So there's a lot of game developers, there's a lot of studio houses has started their own company. And yeah, I think even the media has grown a lot. We have Netflix, we have Disney Plus, and yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity for me to grow to be the person who want to be the industry. So like, yeah, I'm always want to be the one who to be part of the story, the games or whatever. Instead of just being a gamer or a movie watcher, I want to be the one who created that stuff. It's kind of, I like that. What else? So what is the next challenges will be? So since I've been working, because I am from UTeM, it's kind of weird because there's a lot of university from from at least from my last company, which is WOW. A lot of students there was MMU, like multimedia university students. So there's only two of UTeM students there. It was kind of, oh, what are UTeM students doing here? And also, PlayStation also has that kind of vibe because they are most likely take intern from the One Academy, like the great university for animation. So I didn't go through that animation courses. My path is kind of zigzag all the way and all the way back. It's so kind of messy, but I ended up here anyway. So yeah. It's kind of weird when I have the conversation like, oh, where do you study from? I'm from UTeM. UTeM, where is that? Do they have animation courses there? I was like, they only got one subject, but I like what I do. Yeah. So what I'm heading right now is I'm not sure because I still have a lot to learn in games industry, like a mocap capture. You have to learn to set up a camera. I want to learn that. Learn how to do the performance. You have to wear the mocap suit, and I do want to learn that. If I got the opportunity in the future, I will do it. Yeah, I want to get. I want to be good at whatever I'm doing right now. Yeah, and I think that's all for me. That's all I can share. And thank you for listening. So if I said something wrong, I am so sorry.
Okay.
And yeah, have a good day all to you.
Okey, terima kasih diucapkan di atas perkongsian yang cukup menarik pada saya. Nampak santai tapi penuh dengan perkongsian dan juga orang kata dari passion. Okey, apa yang saya nampak, apa yang perkongsian daripada speaker kita ni adalah dari passionnya. Walaupun dia tidak ada background dalam bidang art, tapi dia follow, orang kata kan, mengikut apa yang dia fikir dia suka untuk dibuat. Okey, ada beberapa soalan yang saya nampak di YouTube ni. Saya bacakan dulu ya soalan yang pertama ya, Nawawi.
Ya, boleh.
Alright, soalan yang pertama, soalannya berbunyi begini ya. What is the most interesting thing you found at PlayStation Studio so far?
So far, I would say the environment. It was very interesting because first of all, I have to speak English all the time, which is I never speak any of it. Like I seldomly speak English before. So when you're involved in like international people, like the people from United States or Italy, so you have to use the English there. So it kind of interests me in a way. And what else? Well, I got a powerful machine. Yeah, the office is very nice and it's still very new, and I get to trust me all the things. I would say that. Yeah, that's also knowing all the people, because before this all the stuff working from home because the studio is not ready yet. And last a few months, we were started to work in office, and everyone was, oh, you kind of get used back to the a person in person. You have to talk to each other and get to know each other, and it's quite fun there. Knowing the new faces. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. Alright, harapnya Cik Mohd Nawawi menjawab persoalan tu tadi ya. Okey, ada soalan lagi. Oh, hangat ni. Ada beberapa soalan lagi. Okey, soalan kedua datangnya daripada Irsyad. What is the most difficult thing that you did during your time working as an animator? Apa yang cabaran paling besar sekali as an animator?
Oh, cabaran paling besar. I would say because as an animator, you have to reach this. There's a benchmark. For example, a movie benchmark there, or a games benchmark. You have to meet that kind of quality bar, and to reach that kind of quality bar, you need to hard work. And in animating, like I did before, I keep practicing, and I try to set myself, I have to reach this bar in order to get good. So it will never, like, you can't master animation like in 2 days. No, it required really long time. For me, it was like 2 years or 3 years to get to know, to master the principle first of all, and to learn how the directors think about that particular scene or shots. So yeah.
Okay.
Am I answering?
Okay, right. Dan soalan kita yang terakhir, I think, okay, saya bacakan dulu. Kita tengok. What is the most difficult challenge in animation industry that people always scared? Mungkin ada yang minat tapi macam takut-takut untuk menceburi dalam bidang animation ni.
It's kind of tough because it depends on what you're really into. For me, like I said before, it's kind of tough for me because I couldn't find any animation courses, but I did find a way to get into. So I would say, don't be afraid because there's always people who will teach you, because I started as nothing at all, from zero. So for someone who has you guys have YouTube or all this day, right? you can Google it and you can understand a bit by bit. And for me, it's just get out of your comfort zone and try, just try. When people can see your passion, what drive you crazy to do stuff you want to do, people will hire you. People will want you to work with them because you have that fire on you, I would say.
Okay.
Am I answering question?
Yes. Jadi untuk adik-adik semua, jangan takut untuk mencuba sesuatu yang baru kerana if mengikut minat masing-masing, sekiranya adik minat, redah saja. Tu apa yang saudara Muhammad Nawawi yang cuba kita katakan tadi. Okey, itu sahaja soalan yang saya ingin bacakan. Terima kasih sekali lagi yang tidak terhingga kepada Awi, Cik Muhammad Nawawi atas perkongsian yang baik. Diharap dapat memberi kesan kepada semua pendengar-pendengar kita pada hari ini. Right? Jadi tamatlah sudah keempat-empat speaker untuk sesi webinar. Okey, kita akan berehat sebentar untuk kita masuk ke sesi yang berikutnya dalam sesi code.org. Okey, adik-adik jangan ke mana-mana. Saya sediakan video untuk adik-adik sama-sama lihat. Kita jumpa lagi selepas ini.
Bye-bye.
Coding was first introduced to me by my swimming coach, Miss Irene Hisham. She was the one who was explaining about coding to my parents and recommended QT Kids to them to enroll me to start my coding journey. My dad, who was very keen with her explanation, came home and talked to me about it. Me, who really likes to play games and spend a lot of time on my laptop, said yes and thought it was a very good idea because it will help me in my future to code or create my own game or website.
My favorite part about coding is when I get to test the project I have made so I can see it's either successful or unsuccessful. And if it's unsuccessful, I could improve my troubleshooting skill too.
Yeah, I will use it for my future career maybe, so I can be really good at coding. Then most country or university want to accept me as their coder, or maybe I can help people edit their photos or code new games and post it on the app store, and then people will like my game and I'll become more popular.
Hello world, selamat kembali ke episod 2 siri Asas Web. Idea mencipta laman web sendiri mungkin rasa macam terlalu sukar, tetapi sebenarnya membina laman web adalah sangat mudah. Mungkin anda akan bayangkan pencipta laman web sebagai seseorang yang duduk dalam bilik gelap depan komputer untuk beberapa hari seperti yang anda lihat dalam kaca TV. Ataupun mungkin seperti si pengantar cara dalam filem Matrix dengan 4-5 skrin komputer dan beratus ribu baris atur cara yang terpapar di atas skrin komputer. Sebenarnya menghasilkan laman web adalah sangat mudah dan tidak memerlukan semua itu. Okey, jika saya meminta anda untuk membina sebuah bangunan, anda mungkin akan mempunyai 3 soalan. Yang pertama, apakah tujuan bangunan ini dibina? Yang kedua, apakah rupa bangunan ini? Dan yang ketiga, apakah yang diperlukan untuk membina bangunan ini? Membina laman web menggunakan proses yang sama. Apabila seseorang sedang membina laman web, dia sebenarnya sedang membina bahagian-bahagian berbeza yang digabungkan untuk membentuk suatu laman web yang berfungsi. Web Standards, iaitu standard penghasilan laman web, menyatakan fungsi laman web perlu dibahagikan kepada beberapa jenis bahasa pengaturcaraan. Pada asasnya, laman web terdiri daripada HTML. Kembali kepada contoh bangunan kita tadi. Tidak kira rupa bangunan yang akan dibina, kita masih akan menggunakan simen dan konkrit untuk membina bangunan tersebut. Rupa bentuk laman web pula bergantung kepada bahasa pengaturcaraan CSS. CSS menghiaskan laman web kita dan ia menentukan cara mempersembahkan maklumat HTML yang telah dikod. Bahagian ketiga...
Terima kasih kerana masih lagi setia bersama dengan saya. Okey, kita ke sesi yang berikutnya. Sesi berikutnya ini adalah perkongsian daripada Mr. Pat Yongpradit, Chief Academic Officer dari Code.org, yang mana beliau akan menyampaikan perkongsian berkenaan dengan Computer Science, the curriculum of the future. Okey, tanpa kita melengahkan masa lagi, mari kita saksikan perkongsian daripada beliau.
Thank MDEC for inviting me to participate in this year's My Digital Maker Fair. It's been an honor for us to work closely with the MDEC team for the past several years as an official Code.org international partner. Code.org is the organizer of the Global Hour of Code movement. The Hour of Code is designed to give anyone a 1-hour introduction to computer science to show that anybody can learn the basics of computer science. And ultimately, we want everyone to participate in the field of computer science. MDEC has taken the lead on organizing Hour of Code events in Malaysia since 2017. And we've featured some of the pictures from those events on the homepage of the Hour of Code website. In 2017, the Hour of Code in Malaysia was even awarded the highest participation in coding by the Malaysia Book of Records. Thank you to MDEC and the My Digital Maker partners for working so diligently to expand access to this important subject. And thank you to the students, teachers, parents, and everyone else participating in the events today. Now I'm going to go through my presentation, which is about computer science, the curriculum of the future. So let's start off with what Code.org looks like in Malaysia. Right now, there are 230,000 students and 7,500 teachers with Code.org accounts in Malaysia. And what I want to do is talk about why those students and teachers chose computer science and why you too should be choosing computer science and working with us, Code.org. So these are my students from AP Computer Science class at Springbrook High School in Silver Spring, Maryland in 2013. AP Computer Science was an advanced computer science class at the time. And this class represented everything I was trying to achieve in computer science at this school. You see, I had been working at the school for 8 years and building this program the entire time. And this program, this class represents the culmination of all the things that I was doing. It's a class that's an upper level class, and there are different students in it from different ages, different races, different genders. And all these students loved computer science. And this was not just the only advanced class. There was actually 2 extra levels of computer science after this. And I showed this picture just to remind everyone that everything that we do in computer science is about engaging students and giving them a different future, a future where they can do amazing things that have never been done before. It's also about changing students' lives. And I want to talk about one student in particular. His name is Neiman. Neiman is the guy right in the middle. And Neiman connected with me on LinkedIn, which is a professional networking site, many years after he graduated from high school. And he talked to me about his experience after joining the military, learning about cybersecurity, and then getting a job. And I told him how proud I was of him and his where he's gone with his future. And he shared with me how significant it was for him to have an experience in computer science. Teachers, parents, I want you to know that this is what you're doing for your students and for your kids by introducing them to computer science. You're giving them an opportunity that most of us didn't have when we were young. And you're giving them the skills to prepare themselves for the future. Our vision at Code.org that every student in every school has the opportunity to learn computer science. Eventually, what this means is that teachers are trained and school districts adopt computer science so that all students can learn computer science. And that means every student, because we believe that computer science is foundational. And so at Code.org, we do 4 things. We create curriculum that's free, and our curriculum is actually translated into Malay. We train teachers. We promote computer science. And we do policy work at the Ministry of Education level. Now I want to share with you a vision for computer science, now that you've gotten to know Code.org a little bit. And I want to situate this vision for computer science in Malaysia. So let's talk about a girl named Noor. Noor, at 8 years old, because of computer science, she learns that computers are not just a fun toy or a place to play games or watch YouTube videos. Computers are a creative tool, something that she can use to create stories and animations and games, her own games. And then at 13 years old, because of computer science education, Noor creates programs for a variety of her subjects. It could be science, it could be math, it could also be language. Then at 18 years old, because of computer science and computer science education, Noor is able to address and solve issues in her community. Maybe she makes a website for a cousin's restaurant, or maybe she is able to create an app for her for a local club. And so because of all that, Noor actually decided to get a minor in computer science at college level and graduate. And you would think that maybe she became a programmer. And actually, she didn't become a programmer because she actually also majored in fashion design. That's right. So Noor didn't actually become a programmer at the end, and that's actually fine because you know what? Noor learned that she had a passion in fashion design as well and applied all of the computer science learning she got, even at the college level, to her passion in fashion design, and was able to make an LED lit up dress for as part of her fashion design experience. And so she was able to apply computer science to fashion design. And that's what we want to see for all students. They don't have to all become software engineers and programmers. They should be applying computer science to whatever field, career, or interest they have. So how does computer science benefit students? Well, studies have shown that students who learn programming do better on tests for creativity, mathematical skills, metacognition, that's like reflective thinking, spatial skills, and even reasoning skills. So it has a variety of benefits beyond just learning computer science. Here's an example of a tie-in between math and computer science. And here, a student is figuring out how to register that a green rectangle and a red rectangle are touching one another. And you actually do this understanding the coordinate plane and different corners and width and height of these shapes. And so if you use an algorithm like this, you can have the computer determine whether two things are touching. And this is a very important thing, an important algorithm in very simple video games. And so here you see the very deep mathematical and geometry connection to computer science. And this is where where math can really come alive. Here is an example of students just learning sequential thinking, just by getting a character to go to another character. And this is like using the famous Angry Birds characters from the famous game and now movie as well. And so by putting these instructions together in sequence, young kids learn how to create an algorithm. And so there are a bunch of creative benefits for computer science as well. It's not just math, and it's not just sequential thinking and things like that. It's also fun and engaging. You can create stories and animations just like these that you see on the screen right now. So what do teachers think about programming? Well, we have some quotes from teachers who have attended Code.org's workshops and use Code.org curriculum. So the first teacher says that the smiles on children's faces show their joy and increase self-esteem during coding lessons. And yes, students build a lot of self-esteem when they're trying to fix their code and finally when they get it to work. Because in coding, things don't work, and then you can fix them quickly and then see how they work, and you can do this and repeat them over and over again, and kids really build like this self-confidence because of that type of iteration. And one autistic student in particular this teacher says that this autistic student is relatively nonverbal and doesn't speak, but then was giggling with excitement because of the ability to create something with code. And this student was even asking questions. So it's really amazing. And in fact, studies show that students with learning disabilities are quite interested in computer science and do very well. Another teacher said, I stopped to chat with one of my female students, and she said, I can't believe it. I don't like video games at all. And I thought this class was going to be awful, but I love it. Coding is so much fun. And that's true. It really, just by getting kids to code, it really changes their perspective about technology when they're able to create it and not just like play things. This other teacher says, I really enjoyed the AI unit, the artificial intelligence unit. It was thoughtful and approachable. It changed my mind as to when I should introduce this concept to my student. And what this teacher thought was that, you know, artificial intelligence, that's just for older kids. Well, in this case, he was introducing it at a much younger age, and students really understood it and got it. So you can teach even advanced concepts like artificial intelligence to young kids, and you should. The particular tutorial here is called AI for Oceans, and I'll be talking about that later. AI for Oceans is also translated into Malay. So I have advice for some school leaders. I know school leaders are in the audience, and thank you again for doing what you do and for supporting computer science. Here are my 5 tips for teaching computer science. And I want to start off with number 1, identifying a teacher champion. So school leaders, if your school isn't teaching computer science right now, all you have to do is find one teacher to start and get them trained. MDEC has a lot of trainings that teachers can attend, and you can send your teacher to MDEC, and they can attend workshops and even learn about the Code.org courses. On Code.org website, you'll also find self-paced online professional learning modules for each of our courses, where teachers don't have to go to an in-person workshop. They can just go through a self-paced course to learn about the course that they want to teach, and that goes with all of our courses. Another piece of advice for school leaders is to create opportunities to teach CS in the curriculum. And so you don't have to just create an independent computer science course. You can create room in other subjects to teach computer science. And again, here's an example of learning about math and coordinates and in the context of creating a video game. So you can create opportunities to teach computer science across multiple subjects. School leaders, you should also actively dispel stereotypes in order to involve all students. This is called being inclusive. Now, when people think about a computer programmer, they often think about a picture like you see right here on the right. And not all computer programmers look like that. And lots of computer programmers look very different. So it's very important to actively dispel stereotypes in order to involve all students, so that all students feel like they can belong in computer science. Number 4, as a school leader, you should create a plan to teach computer science to all students, and not just offer it and teach maybe 25, 30 kids a year, but really, how do you teach it to all students so that they can all have the experience? And lastly, school leaders, you should communicate your vision to parents, guardians, and family members. Basically, you should let them know that computer science is being offered at your school and that you want all your students to participate in it. I have advice for teachers as well. So my advice for teachers, starting with number 1, start early. So start at a very young age in order for students to not just build up their skills so that they can create cool things, but they can have fun right from the beginning and feel like they belong in computer science and not wait till later. Studies show that if you introduce computer science at a young age, you will get more participation, obviously, later on, because a lot of students won't already develop stereotypes where they feel like only certain types of kids should be in computer science. And in fact, at a young age, you have the same interest between girls and boys. That changes later on. We want that to be different. You have to start at a young age. This is a picture of students who actually are learning about a computer science concept, but without a computer. And what they did was created the letter G on the floor, and they learned about pixels and coordinates and how how a monitor works, how graphics work for computers. And graphics are just numbers to computers, numbers for the colors, numbers for the position of the pixel, everything. So you don't even have to have a computer, and you can teach it to 5-year-olds. Another suggestion is to set an interesting context and purpose. And this is actually a video game created by the UN to talk about social issues, very serious social issues. When you set an interesting context and purpose, you are able to give a reason why students are doing computer science. So some students might not be as interested in just making something cool. They want to make something for a reason, a personal reason. For example, let's think about Mohamad. If Mohamad has cows on a farm, let's pretend that Mohamad is on a farm and Mohamad wants to organize the information about the cow. Well, Mohamad can create an app to track the cows on his farm. Let's imagine another purpose. CT. CT can create an app to organize the volunteers for her club. And this is an app that is very useful to her personally. So you can create things that go beyond just school projects or fun, but create things that are actually useful for your life. Number 3, you can do it in pairs. And so you don't have to be by yourself. With computer science, you can do this thing called pair programming. And with pair programming, 2 kids are at a computer. One person will type, the other person will talk and give ideas and maybe read off the instructions on a handout, and then they'll switch roles every maybe 10 minutes. And what this does is it creates collaboration among kids. You're not by yourself. You're able to help one another. And it's just more social than just being by yourself. This is called pair programming. There are actually videos about pair programming on the Code.org YouTube channel. Number 4, you can introduce coding through dance and make it physical. And in this picture, kids created an algorithm for a dance using blocks and made a character dance on the screen. And so you see the kids dancing according to the character that they coded to dance. So that's pretty cool. You can also connect computer science to other disciplines. In this case, this is an animation of the water cycle in science. Here is a picture of art using different shapes, and you can learn about geometry that way. And here is a historical animation about dinosaurs. So again, you can connect computer science to other disciplines. Rather than use PowerPoint for a presentation, you can use a program. So here are the next steps that I want you to consider in promoting computer science. So the first thing is you can start small and do an hour of code. A lot of the hour code activities are translated into multiple languages. And I already talked about dance party. So you can create a dance party with famous songs, but you can also learn about artificial intelligence and do an activity called AI for Oceans, which is, again, translated into Malay. And in this tutorial, students learn about training a model to identify fish in the ocean and not trash. And this AI, what it will do is it will clean up trash in the ocean, depending on how well you train it. And that's what actually happens with artificial intelligence. It uses data to be trained and to learn from that data. You can also teach full courses for computer science. And this is the URL for those courses. You can go to this website, teach computer science fundamentals, which again, this course is fully translated into Malay, and teach students between 15 and 20 hours of coding per course. And this goes from the youngest ages to ages all the way to like upper primary, lower secondary level. So in the end, I want to say to all of you, thank you for watching this presentation. I hope that I've convinced some of you, if you aren't familiar with computer science, as to the benefits of computer science and the steps to take in order to get involved. I invite you to join Code.org and the 230,000 students and 7,500 teachers in Malaysia that are using Code.org.
Okey, terima kasih diucapkan kepada Mr. Pat Yongpradit untuk sesi perkongsian sebentar saja lagi. Okey, maka tamatlah sudah sesi pagi kita untuk hari ini. Okey, kita akan bersambung lagi untuk sesi seterusnya di sebelah petang pada jam 3 petang nanti untuk perkongsian yang seterusnya untuk sesi Cikgu Juara Digital. Okey, untuk itu kita berehat sebentar. Saya harap semuanya akan kembali semula pada jam 3 petang nanti untuk sesi kita yang seterusnya. Okey, selamat berjumpa lagi.
Welcome everybody to Edu360 Academy.
Makes me even more smarter than I need to know.
Okay.
It makes me know how to make other Lego things. I like robotics because it makes me smart and make me more study